Hello and welcome to the Sun House podcast. If this is your first time joining us, thank you for giving me your time. And if you are a recurring customer, thank you, dude. Thank you for coming back this 2025. Thank you for choosing me. Thank you for continuing on this journey with me. I hope that we just first of all, Happy New Year and good luck to you and all of your goals and everything that you aspire to achieve. I'm really wishing you the best, and I know that we're all going to do what we got to do this year. Okay. But welcome to the Sun House podcast, where we keep it real, we keep it raw, and most importantly, we keep it healing. The date is Sunday, the 9th of February. If you are a Kanye West fan, you know that Kanye has been unbanned on Twitter. He's back. He is back, and it's a mess. Honestly, it is quite a mess. And so today's episode is titled "In Loving Memory of Kanye West." Confronting my needs to baby black men. Now, before you guys get upset, let me clarify. I'm not saying Ye is dead or that he's been replaced with a clone. With deep down in my heart, honestly, like, that's what I want to believe. I truly want to believe that he was like, this is just a clone, this is not him, like this, none of this is actually happening. But I really have to confront reality and realize that in many ways Kanye is gone. Like, the version of him that so many of us loved and defended is long gone. And honestly, this time, after all the tweets that he's done, like just in this past week, I've given myself time to just grieve Kanye West, grieve the memory of the man, of the visionary that I grew up loving, and take this time to actually confront something really deep within myself. This episode is not only inspired by Kanye's tweets, um, because quite frankly, like, we've been here. If you're still a Kanye West fan in 2025, like, we have resilience. You should date a Kanye West fan. We are loyal. We are ride or dies, baby. Okay, I'm a stick with my man till the end. But what really shocked me was I saw this TikTok, and it's a video of this girl just staring into the screen, and they're playing God Is by Kanye West, which comes from one of my favorite albums, my favorite Kanye West eras, which was the spiritual psychosis, Christian Kanye West era. That was fantastic. That was great. Like, he ate it up. Like, that was such an anointed album. And if you have not listened to it, please listen to Jesus is King. He also introduced me to the Sunday service choir. So it was just like a beautiful, beautiful moment in his life. But yeah, just hearing that song, God Is, and the caption being, "You're telling me this is the same guy?" And that was like, oh my God. Oh my gosh. Like, especially as a Christian, like, I think, especially as a Black Christian, actually, every Christian of every race, we were always confronted, like, you like, listen to a pastor, and he's a great guy, and then boom, there's like this huge scandal about him, like cheating on his wife or whatever. And there are always a lot of mixed reactions to that. There's Black people are very forgiving people. We are so forgiving, it's ridiculous. Especially when it comes to Black men. Like, there is no limit, I think, to what Black men can do, um, that we won't forgive them for. And this is mostly powered by Black women, I believe. So, like, you'll have a pastor who's cheating on his wife or whatever with one of the congregants, which is actually something I've lived through. And yo, guys. And the church, there'll be like people in church who are like, no, like, this is just the enemy trying to attack the church. This is not our pastor, like separating the man from the deed. And you'll find that a lot of Black men are not really held accountable to their actions, especially when they're like community leaders. Because Black people, like, we're taught to have this mentality, and I do think it stems from the struggles that we've been through. This mentality that, you know, we have to just roll with the punches and do everything for the collective. And that means glazing over crimes, not dwelling too much on things, so that the movement of Black people, like whatever we're doing, is not impacted by one person's actions. And obviously, like, you know, newsflash, we're free now, and so, like, there's a change in dynamics in our communities. Like, we're not no longer just like willing to like lay back and just take any type of way that, like, no men act. And you know, it makes you ask the question, why do I why do so many Black women, you know, feel the need to coddle, to excuse, and to overextend ourselves for Black men and protect Black men, even when they show us time and time again that they don't have that energy towards us. And I'm still working on this question, because I don't like that ending. Like, my issue is not the fact that Black men don't have the same energy towards me, that same unconditional um energy to, you know, love and protection for me, for Black women in particular. Like, Black men will drop Black women at the first like hurdle. Like, that's reality. I'm sorry. um I'm just like looking at Black men and wondering, like, why are they like that? Like, why are they like that? And why are they protected to the detriment of the Black community, right? So let's start with Kanye. Old Kanye, the pink polo backpack Kanye, the George Bush doesn't care about Black people Kanye. Yo, like, the man who made us feel seen, he made us feel proud, and he made us feel like there was space for brilliance outside of what was expected from Black artists. I do believe that Kanye West was also one of the very few blatantly openly neurodivergent Black people that I have ever come across. Like, I think that is another layer of representation that we need to kind of like acknowledge when we think about Kanye's legacy. You know, he wasn't just a rapper. He was a cultural architect, guys. He redefined hip hop sound, and you know, he merged streetwear with high fashion. You guys, like, there was a time in society where luxury brands were actively rejecting hip hop's influence and trying as much as possible to separate themselves from rappers. But Kanye West bridged that gap so well. And he really proved that Black artistry could be both intellectual and mainstream, right? From College Dropout to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, his music was, quite frankly, poetry wrapped in vulnerability and ambition. You know, he really made us believe in limitless creativity. And like, I don't know if a lot of people know, especially in my personal life, that I'm not a huge Kanye West fan. Like, I got my first phone in grade 6, grade 7, and yes, like, bro, we were just pumping Kanye West. Like, we were running to catch like the latest music video. I was watching Kanye West live when he, you know, grabbed that award from Taylor Swift. Live, guys. Like, it was like an ungodly hour. It was either late or early, but it was dark, and we were watching MTV, bro. And we couldn't afford DSTV. So we were at my cousin's house. Shout out to Matembo. We were at my cousin's house and we were watching their DSTV, MTV, bro. Kanye taking that award out of like Taylor's hands and being like, this award, you know, deserves good to Beyonce. Da, da, da. That was like, and that was like such a huge moment in pop culture, because Black people also, like, there's this culture of like staying dignified, losing with dignity, and it's no coincidence that as Kanye West comes back into society, Beyonce has just won her first album of the year Grammy. Um, it's really not a coincidence, and it's obviously like one of the things that are just playing heavily on my mind. I can't stop thinking about Kanye West and how much has happened over the years, right? Um, and quite frankly, guys, ne, if I'm really honest with you, like, I'm not a Kanye West defender. Like, I'm not gonna go online and defend him. I'm more of a Kanye West sympathizer. So like, I can acknowledge that everything that he's doing is wrong, but like, I have this soft spot of like I can see he's going through something and I feel sorry for him. And like, my heart yearns for him to kind of get like whatever help that he needs. And before I kind of like delve into anything else, I want you to understand like how I perceive everything that's going on with Kanye West. And obviously, my perception is not reality. It is my reality. I don't know Kanye West. Like, I have a he doesn't know me. Like, this relationship that I have in my mind with him is not real. And I want to remind you guys that none of the relationships with these celebrities or, you know, icons or sportsmen or whoever you love to look up to, even if it's a politician, that relationship you have with that person is not real. The perception of you have of that person is not real. You don't have like the gaps. You can't fill the gaps because you're not there in that moment with him. But like, I do like to review my perception of people, especially people whose content I consume, because I think there's everything is a learning opportunity. I learn, and I can tie it back to what is happening in my own life. So do that. Practice like reviewing your relationships, or the people that you like, and investigate, why do you like these people, why do you interact with these people, what do you not like, and what do you like about these people. Because I'm a huge fan of Beyonce, but I can call Beyonce out like now, like, come on, still waiting on you to say something about Palestine, Queen. Thank you very much. Um, Back to Kanye West. One thing Kanye West and I have in common is the fact that we both lost our mother. I lost my mother at the age of 3. He lost his mom at in his adulthood. And if you know Ye's story, you know how much Miss Donda West meant to him. Like, her death was not a personal loss. I think it was like a breaking point for him. And it definitely doesn't excuse his choices. But it makes me wonder, what does grief do to a man who was never given space to fully process it? Or not necessarily given space, but like, what does grief do to a man? And how many Black men are walking around with wounds that they've never been allowed to heal, or have never allowed themselves to heal? Like, Kanye West has gone through like a lot of traumatic stuff. Like, poverty is traumatic, guys. I'm so sorry if you've ever like grown up hungry, you've been traumatized, baby girl, like, and baby boy. Y'all, Spotify says that I have men listening in here, so welcome, bro. What's up? Whatever the young men are saying these days. Welcome to the gays and the girlies. We just chilling on here. Um, but you know, the 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 car accident, like, the if you guys know about that, the multiple surgeries for his jaw, the fact that his relationship with his father, that is also another like traumatic thing that happened to him. um just like, there's a lot of like bad things that have happened to Kanye West, that a lot of Black men can like, and Black women can really relate to. And guys, I really, if you're not Black and you're listening to this, I'm not trying to exclude you. I just like to emphasize that I'm speaking from this particular point of view because this is my reality. Like, blackness is my reality. I can't speak for like nuances in other communities, in other cultural communities. Do you understand? So like if you relate to some of the aspects that I'm talking about, like shout out to you. My bad. And of course you can, because like we're all people. But Kanye West has been like through like a lot of like really traumatic stuff. And I I just like I feel for him. I feel for him. One thing I'll say like that was like super toxic. Oh, I also think like he's definitely like a porn addict. He's definitely like a porn addict, I think. And I also think that um as a community, we do not discuss enough the ramifications of alcohol and drug abuse. Because yeah, we're drinking, partying, but that stuff like really messes with your mind. Like genuinely, like I mean like on a physician level, on a physical level, it is not good for you. And so like there's just like this mess of like things going on with him. And you know when you lose a mother, quite frankly, and I want to tell you guys this because a lot of you are growing older, and a lot of my friends are growing to the age where there's going to be a day where their mothers have died, and there are a lot of people who don't actually understand like the protection and the anointing and the privilege of having a mother. The day your mother dies, you lose someone, you lose the one person who is biologically engineered to love you. Like she is built to choose you. She will always choose you. She will be unconditional in her love and her support and her belief in you. And that's why like mother wounds, like they tear so deep. And we should definitely do an episode on this, because like if your mother goes against that instinct to be about you and like is abusive towards you, like that can damage you in so many ways. But if you've ever watched Genius, Kanye West documentary, like you'll understand that relationship that he had with his mom and how impactful her death was. And I think not only like the trauma of Donda dying, but also the trauma of not having someone around you and in your space that is dedicated to your betterment. Even me, like as an orphan, like people will speak into my life, adults, and like I never take everything that they take seriously, because they'll never say to me, they'll never give me the advice that they would have given to their own children. Sometimes they say things and I'm like, you would never say that to your child. How could you even advise that? And it's so important to really acknowledge like the danger of that. And I'll admit my toxicity. Like everyone will be like, oh, okay, but he had Kim. And honestly, guys, your partner is your partner. Like your partner is your partner. They choose to be there and they can choose to tap out, as Kim has done. And I'm really proud of her for choosing herself. Um, but I also think that, the trauma of a divorce also is just like not helping. Um, but I always had this, and I want to segue a little bit. I always had this really toxic idea in my mind that like a black woman, like had Kanye married like a fully 100% black woman, like she could have like his story could have turned out completely different. Like if like I always just like think about like how he would have turned out if he, was married to Beyonce or something like that. Like, like a proper good black woman, because like black women are like we're raised to be amazing wives and mothers. Like we're hardwired to be that if we've had good upbringings, okay? Like I can't speak for anyone else, but like growing up, like it has always been emphasized to me the importance of being a good wife and being a good mother. So like I always had that like really toxic relationship with him, and that understanding that I really wished that a black woman, he could have experienced the love of a black woman, because I do think that it's healing. Do you know what I mean? Hey, there I go again. Do you hear me, guys? Like I'm just so like Delusional. And this is exactly what this episode is about. This is what we're talking about. Like, but then, like, I had to open my eyes and realize that I'm dealing with 2025 Kanye West right now. Like a Kanye West who openly disrespects Black women, aligns with white supremacists, and continues to spiral in ways that are destructive, like not just to himself, but to the community that built him, right? And even though like he's doing all of this, there's always like people who's like, he's a genius, he's misunderstood, he's hurting. And like I did genuinely used to be one of those people because it started small. It started small, like, okay, like, and then it just started escalating. And then it just became like a ride that we were just like on, and it's too late to take off our seatbelts and jump off because the brakes are off, and now we're just like, the car has hit the wall and we're all just looking at the car accident, like trying to figure out like, how can we fix this? And that leads me into my personal reckoning. Why do I have this deep rooted instinct to make excuses for Black men, even when they refuse to help themselves or change or even like reciprocate that energy for us? And I've seen it play out even in my personal life, whether it's a friend, like I used to have a lot of like male friends, whether it's like a father figure, a romantic interest. Like I had this need to be the soft landing, the fixer, the one who always sees their pain and just holds space for him, even when, quite frankly, like they don't deserve it or they don't even ask for it. Like, if you as a Black woman think of all the times you've like gone to bat for a Black man, like nobody asked you to do that shit. He didn't ask you. Like, he really didn't ask you. He didn't ask you. Like, he really did not ask you. You just took it upon yourself to do it because you've been, you know, told to, raised to. I don't know. But like Black women are conditioned to believe that loving a Black man means enduring suffering. Like we're expected to be strong and to be patient and to be the ride or die, even when the ride in the Sakaya is dragging us through hell. And honestly, like this is definitely a generational curse that I want to see myself breaking. It's a generational curse that I've seen in so many marriages in my family, so many Black marriages in the community in South Africa, in in the Xhosa community, and even internationally. Like it's a relationship, we all have that deadbeat uncle or know someone with a deadbeat brother that everyone is just like constantly having to drag through. Like kukho amadoda, there are men who abashelwa imali yesonka every day, guys. Like, what is this? And it's so crazy because I call out my family members when they do it, like when they refuse to let Black men in our family take accountability for their actions and their shortcomings, because like Black women, especially now, like Black women are making like a lot of money. Like a lot of Black women are the breadwinners in their families, and constantly having to show up and constantly having to defend. Y'all, now what was that? Anyway, girl. Um, Constantly having to kind of show up for Black men and save them and cuddle them. And like I've read this study about GBV in South Africa and how a lot of it is fueled by Black men's frustration to the white man, but also to Black women because they are no longer subjugated. They're no longer under the control or inferior to men. We've taken advantage of the freedom that post 1994 life has given us, and we're like really making the best out of it. And it's very frustrating for them as well, because they've been taught and conditioned that they are always going to be superior to us. Yes, white men they might perceive white men as superior to them, because honestly, like, if I think about the most powerful man I know, if I think about the most intelligent man I know, um, if I think about like men that I have reverence and respect for, they're all black. They are all black men. And yes, white men are like systemically at the top of the food chain, and rule that hierarchy. But and like I acknowledge that, I've seen that, but like the better man, like I've always had reverence for black men. Like I believe in black life, guys. And what I know, Beyonce and Jay-Z, like black love, we gon' stick together. Okay, don't tell me about my man, okay? Like, I'm building a legacy here, girl. Are you telling me to leave him? And that's something I'm also working on, like I'm doing, because what is wrong with me? Yeah, but what is wrong with me is what is wrong with every black person. Realistically, guys, we all need therapy. We need help. We need help. Oprah, Dr. Phil, like somebody, but like we need help as a community. And I know a lot of black women that are going to therapy, me myself included, doing the work. Um, but black men really need therapy. Like y'all need help. Um, I I I love black men, and I don't. We cannot save them. T. We cannot save them. I cannot save them. We cannot save Kanye West. Like, he just needs professional help. That's the T. Like, he really needs professional help. Um, we as black women are not black men's therapists. We're not their mothers or their emotional rehabilitation centers. We are their partners, and we are not their caretakers. The stigma around mental health in the Black community has kept so many of our men in a cycle of unhealed trauma. And it's really important that we acknowledge that it's time for that to end, right? There's no excuse, guys. Like, um, there are so many free resources for those who cannot afford. Like, we live in a society where mental health is something that we're constantly talking about. Um, we need to start asking black men to do the healing work as well, not for themselves, but for the generations that come after them. I'm so intentional about like undoing the work and really critically engaging with my thoughts around this Kanye West issue, because more than anyone, more than him, I really feel sorry for the kids wrapped up in this. Um, and I really hope that I don't make the same mistake that Kim Kardashian has made. Like, I really do not want to deliver my kids. I do not, because it's my responsibility. I choose the father that they're gonna have, and I just can't choose a man that is going to traumatize my kids, bro. Like, really just tap out, um, and not be able to be a good father to them. It's my responsibility to that. My desire is to marry a healed black man as a healing black woman, um, so that we can really produce like a generation of unhealed. I'm sorry, a generation of healed children. There we go. Like, yeah, a generation of healed black kids, guys. Like, I pray and I hope that the next generation of black kids, our kids, guys, um, are going to be, children that are raised in beautiful black families that are two-parent households, parents that have space for them, that hold space for them financially, emotionally, mentally, just parents that are going to create little black kids that can just be kids. Like I really want to give the next generation of black kids like something we never had, guys. Like, and um there are certain choices that we have to make in order to make that possible. And sathethi ke ngaba ke abasebena abantwana ngaphandle komtshato, good luck kuni, guys. And I don't know who banicofana abantwana benu bazotshata bani, but it's not mine. Let me tell you that now. Anyways, what does moving forward look like? Honestly, for me, it looks like unlearning. It looks like shifting my love away from being a burden bearer and towards being a partner. And it means recognizing that my love, my labor, and my energy are valuable and should be reciprocated 100%. It means being able to grieve what was, whether that's an old version of Kanye, old version of myself or other people or situations, and making peace with what is, what the present is, what the reality is. I love black men, but I love myself more. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, not sorry. Damn. I love myself more. And that, my friends, I think is the real revolution. I was teaching a friend of mine about the difference between having confidence and self esteem. Um, you can have confidence and still have low self-esteem, because confidence is flesh, it's surface level, it's what people see, right? It's about how you walk, how you talk, and like it controls how people perceive you. Self-esteem is how you perceive yourself. It is whether you perceive yourself in a high or low regard. And your self-esteem, your level of self-esteem dictates how you let other people treat you. So if you have low self-esteem, you can be like really confident and whatever, but you'll stay in toxic relationships with people or with food or with jobs or whatever it is, because you believe that that's the best that you can do, that is what you deserve. And it's very important to focus on developing high self-esteem, because it can break or make you, right? But yeah, that is all for today's episode of The Sun House. If this resonated with you, if you feel seen, if you've got any thoughts, hit us up in the comments. Let's keep the conversation going. And as always, y'all, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will see you next time. Peace out.